Hello, my name is Lucian, and today I'm going to go over the Short Ruby Newsletter edition 111. Oh, forgot. First, let's drink some coffee. And now, let's go over this edition. I'll try to do a summary of what I included in this edition, and I'll start with launches and discounts. Jason launched their new book called Professional Rails Testing. I really think you should buy this because it's a great book and Jason knows so much about Ruby and about testing. Joseph announced the second edition of the Kamal Handbook. This is a great book that Joseph wrote, and it helps a lot with doing Kamal deploys, with working with Kamal proxy, secrets configuration, rework images, and some more. Another launch, Socket now supports Ruby in beta, and Socket it supports scanning Rails projects with AI powered scans for vulnerability, malicious code, and supply chain threats. Seems like could be something useful where AI is applied. And good enough launched Jelly, a better shared inbox. Seems like this is an inbox for a team when you need to have access to the same shared email. And best of all, they don't charge per seat. I think that's a great thing to do. Then in events, Brighton Ruby announced that the tickets are live for sale. RubyConf India will happen in probably less than 1 month. There are still tickets available if you want to join. RubyConf announced a series of speakers. You should check them out on their website. I'm just adding here Drew because I always enjoy his fun and amazing talks. Tropical RB announced also, or now named Tropical on Rails, announced also a series of speakers and announced that the tickets will be on sale on 13 October. Here I just put the one of the announcements about Irina as confirmed speaker. And as always, I invite you to check rubyconferences.org to discover a lot of meetups and conferences happening this week. And don't forget to submit yours. And then there is the section about all about code and Ruby. Like a general thing, I noticed that there are people from the Ruby community that are creating accounts on Blue Sky, and Joshua has created a starter pack with that includes a lot of people from Ruby and Rails. So if you want to go there, I invite you to check Joshua's Wood account and check out the starter pack. And then we have quite some few code samples. Now, I don't plan to read all of them because I don't like to read Ruby code, but they've shared a way to combine the then with the rightward assignment, and I think that looks cool. And Rob Lacey shared how to remove memoization when using this memory gem. And Michael Cheney discussed about the fact that HashRocket syntax is not actually deprecated, but can be useful in some cases. And Nate shared a code sample about how to test your seed file. And Robinson added a similar version for RSpec. And John shared how they build, had shared how they use before action callbacks to secure some controllers in Rails. And like always, Ruby Academy shared a lot of tips and tricks. To this week, some of them are about improving Rails console and doing stuff that can help you as a developer when you start the Rails console. And then there are a lot more code samples. I don't plan to read all of them. And then in the thinking and code design, some interesting things to read. JP Camara shared a benchmark between Ruby with Falcon and Bun, and seems like they are not very far away. And again, Michael shared about potential pitfalls in Rails regarding normalize this feature. Jan Bussier announced that he's working on a blog post about a new garbage collector. Seems like it has amazing results. I'm looking forward to see about it. Nate shared about using Minitest and how the test can be refactored using the normal Ruby tools. And Lucas shared a couple of drawbacks about moving the logic outside the model or keeping the logic inside the model. And then there is a very big discussion that happened last week, started with Javi Ramirez sharing his thoughts about Kamal not being maybe the default going on for Rails because he shared 14 points about why there might be some cons about this, and then there are people that reply to this, and basically all the replies and basically the replies are making a difference between what Kamal's supposed to do and what you should do if you are trying to host the Rails on your own server. And you can discover here a lot of point of view about that. And then there is a very interesting story, and I appreciate Javi for sharing it about how he got hacked due to the fact that Docker is exposing some root access. And there is also a huge discussion on Reddit about similar things about Kamal and pain points, or the way Kamal is used and how you should look at Kamal and how you should use it to have good deployments. And Ross shared a very good article and thread about sending web push notification from Rails. And Andrea asked about moving active storage between service providers, and there are a couple of suggestions here. One that I did not knew, and it's a good reminder about active storage mirror service. And then around Cond, Amanda replied to a question about hiring, saying that probably a lot of companies are thinking about their next year budget and maybe more jobs will be posted soon. And Stan announced that now the documentation on RubyLang, it's using the red scheme, as a lot of people requested. And Ben from Feedbean announced or posted a picture about how many jobs they processed in 11 years. I think this is 186 billion jobs, almost 190 billion jobs. And then I included here because I think that's interesting niche question. Sean asked about where to get Ruby contracted jobs that are not about Rails. Then I have a pretty big section about why choose Ruby and Rails. I include it in every edition. And here Haseb shares about how easy it is to work with a code base that is using the Rails way, let's say. And Sean Roberts shared about doing this mix of Rails, Turbo, Flex, and Alpine JS. And Josh shared about how they replaced custom stock search select with Hotwire combo box. And Jonathan, that I also included in the feature preview, in the preview of the newsletter, shared about how Rails is pretty good out of the box, and then you can put on top Bullet Train or Jumpstart and Avo, and this can get you very far away. And Mike McQuaid shared about how Ruby is great for moving fast, and also can happen, breaking changes can happen, and he has a nice article about this. And John Youngfok shared about how on all his projects, Rails is at the center of everything, and then for some of them he uses Lambda to run Node in a serverless mode. And then we have new gems. Alexandro Rodi announced a new gem called Moirai. Let the word be translated one type of a time that allows you to edit YAML files using GitHub. And Nate released a gem called IDS must be indexed. That is a GitHub action to ensure all Rails application foreign keys columns are indexed. And then Joseph open sourced their AsciiDoc book template to write books, technical books, and he shares what features are supported there. And Jerome shared a new gem called Rubocop Obsession that has some Rubocop extensions focused on high-level concepts, like, for example, not having to do comments in the code, or having a specific order of the private method, and so on and so forth. I think some of them are, not all of them are enabled by default. You have to enable one by one, but that's an interesting collection. And Rails Designer released a new Rails development tool that can help you with some shortcuts during development. And then we have updates. Rails released a new version for 6.1, 7.0, 7.1, and 7.2, which mostly is not a security update, just a small update. And Jean Boussier released a new version of RubyJSON that adds, seeing in this PR, the benchmark almost twice the speed for JSON dump. And Joe Draper released the first release candidate of Literal Gem, and ThoughtBot made a release of Factory Bot Rails. And then we have some related but not Ruby specific tips here that I don't plan to comment on, but you will see them if you read the newsletter. And then we have a lot more content that you can read, starting with Vladimir sharing their slides from Kaiji on Rails about the Railsway or the highway. And yeah, you will discover a lot of content here. This was me sharing with you some things that I included in the ShoreRuby newsletter. If you want to read it, go to newsletter.shoreruby.com and you will find it there. Thank you.